The pterosaurs are particularly strange and fascinating creatures. They existed at the same time as the dinosaurs, but they were not themselves dinosaurs. The pterosaurs actually diverged earlier, and thus are like the older cousin of the dinosaurs. As the first vertebrates capable of powered flight, these reptiles could travel vast distances, and they could hunt for food in a wide diversity of habitats. They soared down to pluck fish out of the ocean. They chased after large, juicy insects in the forests. They sniffed out large, nutritious eggs, and they hunted smaller, land-based vertebrates. The pterosaurs developed a remarkably diverse lineage, with some species growing to absolutely massive sizes. Hollow bones and broad skin-covered wings allowed even the largest pterosaurs to remain airborne. Now, the news that I bring you today comes out of Morocco, where scientists discovered the fossils of 3 species of pterosaurs that, until now, were not known to have existed in Africa. Their work was published in the journal Cretaceous Research. Now, the fossils in question were found in the Kemkem beds in central eastern Morocco, near the border with Algeria. The Kemkem beds are a massive geological formation preserving the jumbled remains of countless dinosaurs and all sorts of other contemporary species from the late Cretaceous period, around 100 million years ago. This is a really interesting time period in pterosaur evolutionary history, as, to paraphrase from the study, some of the dominant groups, like ornithocheirids and basal asdarchoids, were being outcompeted and replaced by pteranodontids, nyctosaurids, and more derived asdarchoids. The findings helped to, quote, shed light on the diversity of pterosaurs from this time, and provide a window into the diversity of a continental pterosaur assemblage from this critical transitional period, unquote. Fossil miners from Bega, a small village in southeast Morocco, found these fossils and sold them to the scientists, who identified them as pieces of pterosaur jawbone and large pterosaur teeth. When they used anatomical ratios to calculate an estimated wing size, the fossils suggested that they belonged to pterosaurs with a wingspan greater than 3 meters. Megan Jacobs is a doctoral candidate in geosciences at Baylor University in Texas, and she led the American component of the research team. Ms. Jacobs said, quote, for such large animals, they would have weighed very little. Their wingspans were around 10 to 13 feet, with their bones almost paper thin and full of air, very similar to birds. This allowed these awesome creatures to reach incredible sizes and still be able to take off and soar the skies, unquote. Now, a 10 to 13 foot wingspan sounds pretty big, and it is, but it was actually on the smaller side as far as all pterosaur species are concerned. The smallest pterosaurs had a wingspan that was less than a foot. They were really tiny. But the largest pterosaurs had a wingspan in excess of 35 feet, or 11 meters. That's huge. Anyways, the jaw and the tooth fossils they found correspond to known species, but until now, these were not known to have lived in Africa. These include the Anhanguera piscator, which was previously only known to exist in the Santana Formation in Brazil, the Ornithocheirus simus, known only from the Cambridge Greensand Formation in eastern England, and a somewhat ambiguous Coloborhynchus species, similar to both Coloborhynchus clavirostris from the Hastings group in southern England, and the Coloborhynchus fluviferox, which was one of only 2 other pterosaur species that, until now, were the only pterosaurs identified from the Kemkem beds. Researchers from the University of Portsmouth in England were also involved in the study, and a spokesman from the university made some comments about the findings to the media. When describing the pterosaur's diet, the spokesman said, quote, many of the predators, including the toothed pterosaurs, preyed on a superabundance of fish. These aerial fishers snatched up their prey while on the wing, using a murderous-looking set of large spike-like teeth that formed a highly effective tooth grab. Large pterosaurs such as these would have been able to forage over vast distances, similar to present-day birds such as condors and albatrosses, unquote. Alright, so there you go. This is a neat little look through a window into the late Cretaceous, back to a time before birds even existed, back to a time where pterosaurs ruled the sky.